I brought a cutting board and a knife to my sick girlfriend's bed and genuinely thought I was being thoughtful. 5 people independently reacted with horror. So here's the story. Every evening without fail we go to the grocery store together. We walk the aisles, argue about olive oil, pick up things we do not need, come home, put music on, and cook side by side. It is not glamorous. It is not a formal date night. It is just ours. We have been together almost 2 years, and in that time, that routine has become something I depend on more than I ever realized. No matter how draining the day was, we would end up in that kitchen together, and everything would settle. So when she woke up last Tuesday looking pale and told me she felt terrible, my first reaction was not concern. It was something closer to disruption. I know how that sounds. She said she had a headache, nausea, and chills. She said she wanted soup and wanted to go back to bed. I told her okay, of course, but I did not fully mean it. Here is the honest part. I do not really understand being sick, not the way she was describing it. I have not been taken down by illness since I was about 12. I get headaches and push through. I get sore throats and keep going. I have never lost a full day to my body just refusing to cooperate. So when she said she needed to stay in bed, some part of my brain quietly translated that as her not wanting our thing tonight. And I felt rejected. Not dramatically, not even consciously. Just a quiet tightening somewhere in my chest. I told myself I was being understanding when I came back 20 minutes later and said fresh air might help, and asked if she would come to the store with me. She said she did not think she should, and instead of agreeing and letting her rest, I said I would make dinner if she came. I told her I would handle everything. She just had to be there. She hesitated. She looked exhausted. Then she said okay, fine, and got up. At the store, she was quiet. She pushed the cart slowly. She took longer than usual to read labels she would normally grab without thinking. At one point, she said she felt dizzy and drifted toward the pharmacy section to sit on a bench near the blood pressure machine. I kept shopping. An older woman walked over to her. I watched from the end of the aisle as the woman bent down and said something. Then the woman put her hand on her arm. I walked over and said she was fine, that she gets like this when she is under the weather. The woman looked at me and said maybe she should be home resting. I said she was fine. I said she was dramatic when she was sick. I said that out loud. About the person I love, while she sat 4 feet away. She did not react. She just looked down at her hands. When we got home, she went straight to the bedroom. I put the groceries away and stood in the kitchen. She had said she did not even feel like eating anymore, but she needed to eat, and we always cooked together. And I had promised to handle dinner, but then something shifted in my thinking, and I can see now how strange it was. I started wondering if she could just help with a small part, not standing at the stove, just the chopping. She could do that sitting down. She could do it from bed. I got a cutting board, a knife, 2 carrots, and an onion, and I brought them into the bedroom. I set the cutting board across her legs over the blanket and said this way we could still do it together. She stared at the cutting board. She did not yell. She did not throw anything. She just looked at it for a long moment, then looked up at me with an expression I had never seen on her face before. It was somewhere between disbelief and grief. Then she picked up the knife and started trying to cut a carrot. She was shaking. The angle was wrong because she was half reclined. The cutting board kept sliding. She was pale and squinting like the overhead light was too bright. I watched her try. I told myself this was a good compromise. That is when my roommate opened the door. He took in the entire scene in about 2 seconds. She was propped up in bed, wrapped in blankets, a cutting board balanced across her legs, a knife in her hand, pale and shaking. He said, "Dude, what the hell?" I said we were cooking together. He looked at me, then at her, then back at me. Then he walked out without another word. He texted his girlfriend within 10 minutes. His girlfriend and mine have been close for almost as long as we have been together. They text constantly. One of them knows something the moment it happens to the other. By the time I had started the actual soup on the stove, my girlfriend's phone was lighting up on the nightstand. Her best friend, then Priya, then within another 20 minutes her older sister. Her sister FaceTimed and saw the cutting board still sitting on the bed. She lost it, not at my girlfriend, at me. Through the phone, voice raised, asking who does something like that, asking if this was a pattern, asking how long this had been going on. I tried to explain. I said this was our routine. I said it was about connection. I said I thought I was compromising. Her sister said a compromise is ordering takeout. A compromise is sitting with her. A compromise is not handing a sick woman a knife and asking her to work from bed so you do not have to eat alone. I said that was not what I was doing. My girlfriend said nothing, which was almost worse. Then her mom called. She is not a dramatic woman. She does not escalate. She is measured in a way that can feel more intense than yelling because every word means something. She asked to speak to me. She asked if I had promised to cook dinner if my girlfriend came to the store. I said yes. She asked if I had cooked dinner. I paused and said I was making soup. She said that was after my girlfriend had tried to cut vegetables in bed while running a fever. Then she said she was not going to yell at me, but she wanted me to sit with what I was describing. She said my girlfriend told me she was sick. I asked her to come out anyway. I made her a promise to handle it. And then I brought her a knife and asked her to chop vegetables in bed. She asked if that felt like care to me. I said I was trying to keep us connected. She said, connected to what? She was right there. She was not leaving. She was just sick. The next morning, her sister showed up unannounced with medicine and a container of real homemade soup. She walked past me in the hallway like I was not there, not with hostility, with total deliberate absence of acknowledgement. She spent an hour in the bedroom. When she came out, she had the cutting board under her arm like she had collected it as evidence. She set it by the front door. She said her sister would be staying with her that night. I said she did not have to do that. She said her sister wanted to. My girlfriend came down the hall with a bag and her jacket. She kissed me on the cheek, something that felt both tender and distant at the same time, and said she would call me later. After they left, my roommate came out of his room and said he had to tell Priya that I understood that, right? I said I figured. He said she was not hurt because I wanted to cook together. She was hurt because I watched her suffering, and my first thought was about the routine. He said adapting would have been ordering soup and watching a movie with her, not bringing the routine to her like a bill she still had to pay. Then my phone rang. My mom, she never calls unless something has already reached her. Apparently her mom had called her. My mom asked me to talk to her. I explained everything, probably more defensively than I intended. She listened without interrupting. Then she said if I wanted to feel close to her, I would have gotten into bed. I would have sat with her. I would have brought soup and rubbed her back and let the kitchen wait one night. I said I knew that now. She said I handed her a knife, and when someone is sick, you do not hand them a knife. You take things off their plate. You do not add more. She came back the next afternoon. She was not cold. She was not punishing me. She was just careful, like she was moving around something tender. She made tea. She sat on the couch. She let me sit next to her. I apologized. A real one, not a defensive one. Not I am sorry you felt that way. Not I am sorry, but here is why I thought it was fine. I just said I was sorry. That I reduced her to a part of our routine when she needed me to see her as a person who was hurting. She nodded slowly. Then she said she had tried to cut those carrots because she did not want to disappoint me, even while she felt terrible. Then she asked if I understood what that meant. I said yes. I do not know if she believed me. Her sister still has not spoken to me directly. Her mom sent a text 3 days later that said simply, I hope you understand better now. Caleb has started calling it the cooking incident, but there is something underneath the jokes that is not quite humor. And I keep coming back to one specific image. Her sitting in that pharmacy section of the grocery store, sick and dizzy, while a stranger asked if she was okay. And me, from the end of the aisle, laughing it off and calling her dramatic. I thought I was being flexible, creative, loving even. But when 5 different people, all independently, all look at the same situation and react with the same horror, and you are the only one standing there thinking you did something thoughtful, you have to ask yourself a hard question. Was I trying to protect something meaningful between us? Or did I need things to go my way so badly that I stopped seeing her as a person and started seeing her as a missing piece of my evening? I still do not have a clean answer, and I am not sure I deserve one yet.